Clark back on the court, set to return from injury for the second time. She also picked her All-Star team. Of course, you can't have an All-Star game in 2025 without giving it some kind of gimmick. And I would say to you that the WNBA is so recently in the consciousness of a lot of fans, they probably would benefit from getting their geographic alignment straight. Caitlin Clark back on the court, set to return from injury for the second time of the 2025 WNBA season. She is on track to return, according to Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White. Caitlin's been out since June the 26th, participating yesterday in a 5-on-5 practice session in front of VIP Indiana Fever fans. She made the first bucket, in fact, as you can see there, in front of people who are spending way too much money on the WNBA. But there she is, and she was actually very busy yesterday because in addition to returning to practice, she also picked her All-Star team. That's right. It happened yesterday. It's going to air on ESPN during NBA Countdown tonight, but it actually happened yesterday. Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier of the Minnesota Lynx, the top two vote getters, are the captains this year, and the WNBA All-Star Game will be Team Caitlin against Team Nafisa, because, of course, you can't have an All-Star Game in 2025 without giving it some kind of gimmick, because East versus West just doesn't work anymore. Apparently. It worked when I was a kid. National League versus American League worked. East versus West worked. Hell, the NFL played the Pro Bowl. They actually got out there and played. And yeah, they weren't going full speed, but I remember when Jack Youngblood played in that game on a broken fucking leg. There was such a thing as professional pride. Remember when Pete Rose ran over Ray Fosse in the 1970 All-Star Game? You might not be old enough to remember, although a few of you aged motherfuckers probably do remember that. But don't tell Pete Rose it's an exhibition. If Pete Rose put on a uniform, he was going out there to beat you. As opposed to the modern NBA, where it seems like every All-Star Game is 223 to 221. Because nobody is even going to make a token effort to get in front of somebody. And the WNBA is picked up on the gimmickry. And so rather than East versus West, and I would say to you that the WNBA is so recently in the consciousness of a lot of fans, they probably would benefit from getting their geographic alignment straight. Who's in the West? Who's in the East? We don't even fucking care anymore. Because it's 2025 and every All-Star Game is a joke. And there's some criticism. Producer Tim is a little peeved. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, Tim, but I believe I'm accurate in saying Tim's a little peeved. Why didn't they air this live? The picking of the teams kind of deflates things a little bit, doesn't it? To like hold off for 24 hours so that you can air it on ESPN. We'll find out tonight, but it happened yesterday. And perhaps more importantly, some Indiana Fever fans are getting a little bit nervous because of some comments that Caitlin Clark made, saying that she looked forward to being in Indianapolis for, quote unquote, a few more years. Only a few, Caitlin? Are you already thinking about going? Where would you go to make a splash in the WNBA? Is there a place you can go? For years and years in the NBA, it was you would go to the Los Angeles Lakers, or if you really go way back, some people would say you go to the New York Knicks. That hasn't been true for a good long while, but New York and LA. Is that the case in the WNBA? With Caitlin Clark going to the New York Liberty make a difference in her career? I don't think that there's anything to worry about there. It was a passing comment. Calm down, Indianapolis. It's going to be all right. Speaking of when All-Star games were great, as I said, when I was a kid, East versus West was enough for us. And take a look at this. This is why. This is your 1990 Eastern Conference NBA All-Star team. And have a look at that. Have a look at that roster. Let's just go through it. You got Joe Dumars in the back. I don't know who 23 is. That's some guy. Dominique Wilkins next to him. Reggie Miller, Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman. And going right to left on the bottom, you got Charles Barkley, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Patrick Ewing, some other guy there. I don't know who 33 is. And Scottie Pippen next to him. How's that for a team? Good Lord. How's that for a team?
No tattoos or earrings on Rodman.
No tattoos or earrings on Rodman. Not a tattoo in that photo. In fact, you think tattoos are going to fall out of favor at some point? When your grandma has sleeves, do you think that's when the teenagers are going to push back and be like, well, to rebel, the thing that you do now is you don't have tattoos because every old, uncool person that you know is fucking covered in them.
It's a great point. Not a single bit of ink.
No. I mean, how many tattoos were in the NBA period in the 1980s? I remember Larry Mishaw of the Houston Cougars, Phi Slamma Jamma. He was one of the guys on Phi Slamma Jamma. And he had a tattoo on his bicep. Just a single tattoo on his bicep. And I remember being fascinated by it as a kid. That guy's got a tattoo. Look at him. Like he was the sailor that was fucking brandy. And he just came in to port to Phi Slamma Jamma. This. We'll see who Caitlin Clark takes tonight for Team Caitlin. I can tell you who Players Club International took in the pimping draft back in 1984. They did the only thing that they could do. They went chalk and they took Telly Savalas. Yeah, that's right, Kojak. Surprising absolutely no one, the greatest pimp of his generation. The only man that could be in a photo with Frank Sinatra and render Frank Sinatra borderline irrelevant to the moment. The focal point of every picture he was ever in. Look at that sweet Greek bastard. My God, forgotten more about pimping than anyone would ever know. Somebody told me once that he lived in a hotel in Los Angeles and he would come down to the lobby and he would play billiards with people. I believe it. Speaking of All-Star games, it's All-Star Tuesday here on the Ricky Cobb Show. Clayton Kershaw has been named to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game by Commissioner Rob Manfred, as Rob Manfred exercises his special commissioner powers to have the Dodgers legend on the team this year. It's going to be Kershaw's, I don't know, what is it, his 10th All-Star nod? Something like that. And again, he's only thrown like maybe 44 innings this year. I think he's 4-0, 3.43 ERA in limited action, but he's there for his legendary status. And here's one for you that I did not know until I was researching this program for you guys this morning. Well, Tim was researching it as well, and I was like, oh, Tim, I did not know that, is more how it happened. Clayton Kershaw, 18 seasons with the Dodgers, which ties him for the longest tenure in Dodgers franchise history, which I thought was kind of interesting, with Zach Wheat and Bill Russell, the other Bill Russell, the shortstop for many years in the great Ron Say, Bill Russell, Davey Lopes, Steve Garvey Dodgers infield that lasted for about 8.5 years. But Clayton Kershaw is what they're calling a legends pick there. First time that Manfred has exercised his authority to do this since 2022, when Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols were named to the team. And Clayton Kershaw just coming off of his 3,000th career strikeout. So, I got no problem with that. It's called the All-Star Game. Hunter Goodman is the Colorado Rockies representative. How about that, Ron? Did you know that the Colorado Rockies have to have an All-Star by rule? There's got to be one at least from every team.
I'm aware of that rule.
Yeah. Hunter fucking Goodman is an all-star. And if Hunter Goodman is on the team, I don't think we can complain about Clayton Kershaw. I remember when Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, late in their careers, were on all-star teams. The fans want to see the players that they care about the most. It's not necessarily, in my opinion, about who's having the best half season. There are guys who have good half seasons, and then you look back later and you're like, well, why the fuck is that guy in the All-Star game? So I think you got to strike a balance. I do think that it should reward people who are playing well, but, you know, Clayton Kershaw's body of work, I think, certainly merits it. I remember another All-Star, however. Take a look at this guy. The more that time goes by, the more that I appreciate Bo Jackson. I know we marvel at Shohei Ohtani and everything that he's doing, and rightly so, but Bo Jackson, All-Star Game MVP, not even his best sport. Think about that for a minute. 1989, I believe it was, that he went deep off of Rick Russell of the San Francisco Giants at the time. And he did that, 4 years after he won the Heisman? Unbelievable. Guys, career yards per carry in the NFL is 5.5. He also had a 30-homer, 100 RBI season and was MVP of the All-Star Game. Of all the what-if stories in the history of sports, Bo Jackson is number one. Imagine the world where Bo Jackson stayed healthy and we got to see another 10-plus years of him. What might he have accomplished? Manny Machado of the San Diego Padres accomplished something pretty good, becoming the 297th man to join the 2,000 hit club, which is less than you might imagine. You know, 297, that is not a ton of guys who have reached even 2,000 hits in Major League Baseball history. He is the fifth active player in the big leagues to reach the 2,000 hit threshold, and he's young enough. I think Manny's maybe 32, something like that. He's got enough time left. If he ages well, he's got a shot to go for the 3,000 hit club, which makes me think of a man, the only man in Major League Baseball history who retired with exactly 3,000 hits. 3,000 hits. And sadly, he didn't retire. He died tragically, ending his career on a humanitarian mission to help Nicaraguan earthquake victims, loading supplies on a plane. That's the kind of man that Roberto Clemente was. I used to carry a Roberto Clemente card in my wallet for years, back when I was in graduate school. Carried it until it finally fell apart. But look at that resume. And no batting gloves. 317 batting average, which I believe is the second highest for a right-handed batter post-World War II. The only one higher? Anybody want to venture a guess? Kirby Puckett, 318. But there you have it, the great Roberto Clemente. I got to interview his son Luis once, and I told him that. I said, you know, I used to carry your dad's card around in my wallet. I think that it's just in our DNA from our ancestors that when there's a fight, any man who doesn't have low T at least perks up. I don't know if everybody would or not. Maybe some of these people who are crying over legislation might not perk up if there's a fight. But by God, if you've got some testosterone and you see men escalating towards a fight, there's just a little part of you that just goes fight, fight, fight. So here's one for you.
Body blow,
What
left.
could go wrong
Knock
on a
him
golf
out.
course? How much could that's good, Tim. That was that's the sound that always happened before Glass Joe hit the canvas right there. But we found Glass Joe's first cousin on a golf course. Take a look at this, guys.
Go now. Like,
Tempers flaring.
Go now. Park and go. You're not scaring anybody. I don't.
Hey, man.
What?
Come on, man.
What a terrible cameraman.
Hey. Hey.
Throws him in the river.
I fucking told you.
Watch the ripple.
You want
in the
another?
river.
You want another?
That
Watch
guy's
the
going to
wink
have
he
to
threw.
wait for a USGA rules official
I go to
to tell him what to do.
I mean,
After
that dude is
fucking
5'5",
guy.
and he keeps going after this dude. Like the brass
He doesn't
balls
have any
on him.
quit in him, does he?
No.
Is that Jose Altuve?
I mean, that is a hoss. He is fighting a hoss, Ricky.
Look at him. He's like the Black Knight from
Dude,
Monty
look
Python.
at He tossed him like a sack of
Ragdolled
oranges.
him. He just
It's not
ragdolled
okay.
him. Look
He
at
keeps
him.
coming back.
Fucking get moving. I said stop looking like an idiot.
Get out of here.
And fellas, the postscript to this story, Jake Paul has now signed to fight that short guy on pay-per-view. Labor Day, Jake Paul and the Angry Dwarf. Netflix. Now with less buffering. I don't know. What could possibly go? If you enjoy this kind of nonsense, my friends, head over to outkick.com/newsletters. And you can sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind. It's your backstage pass to all things Super 70 sports and Ricky Cobb show. I'm going to take you behind the scenes to things like hanging out with Rudy. Rudy. Hanging out with Aaron Boone in his office at Yankee Stadium. We got the Margarita mailbag. Send your questions, for God's sakes. Ricky Cobb's Rewind at OutKick.com. Send your questions, or maybe send your childhood photos, and I'll give them a caption. We'll talk about what's going on in the news. We've got a Give Me 5 in there every week where I give you my top 5 something or another. I think last issue it was the top 5 baseball movies of all time. We'll see what it is this week, but the next one drops on Thursday, every other Thursday. It's absolutely free. You can unsubscribe at any time, but only a goddamn fool would do that. Get over to outkick.com/newsletters and sign up. We're having too much fun for you to miss out on it.
So like you right now should come out and be like, you know what? The young man who's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports,
Right.
that shouldn't happen. You as the governor should step out and say no.
No, and I appreciate
But like, would you do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. So that's easy to call out, the unfairness of that. There's also a humility and a grace, that these poor people are more likely to commit suicide, have anxiety and depression. And the way that people talk down to vulnerable communities is an issue that I have a hard time with as well. So both things I can hold in my hand. How can we address this issue with the kind of decency that I think, is inherent in you, but not always expressed?
Well, that was Gavin Newsom a little while back talking to Charlie Kirk, saying that it's an issue of fairness. Transgender biological males who identify as females competing in girls' and women's sports. And some people took that as a sign that Gavin Newsom was based in reality more than a lot of his Democratic brethren seem to be, and at least acknowledging that. However, California has officially rejected Title IX resolution agreement that keeps males out of female sports, so much for all of that. It's going to be a throwdown between the Trump administration and the state of California now. And I think that Gavin Newsom's core conviction, like many politicians, but I think in Gavin's case, this conviction is held more strongly than average. His conviction is that he should be in power. Ronnie, what do you make of it? We heard him say to Charlie Kirk, it's not fair, but California's not going to do a goddamn thing, at least not willingly.
He's a slime ball. I don't understand how. I mean, I guess you can reject it, but the federal government's going to win on this, right? Like they're just going to say, all right, if you don't do what we say you're going to do, we're just going to withhold funds from this or from that or from whatever. I mean, I remember, gosh, it was a long time ago. It used to be that if you didn't have, I believe, a 55 mile an hour speed limit, the federal government would withhold funds for roads. So, I mean, the federal government's going to win on this. He's a slime ball, Ricky. Like
Well,
every time he opens up his
the federal
mouth,
government the bad guys. You see what happens? You're going to get the same end result, but now, he doesn't have to be the bad guy.
yeah. I mean,
So, I think he's Machiavellian. I'm telling you, he is. There are some people. We always have the debate on the show about, well, how much of like the really far out stuff do some Democrats really believe?
right.
And I've always been more in the camp of, I think a lot of these people are captured ideologically and they really do believe these things. And you're like, Ricky, they can't believe some of this stuff. Newsom, I'm quite sure, doesn't believe a lot of it, but everything he does is calculated to try to figure out how he's going to navigate his path to the White House in 2028. And he's the most dangerous person on the Democratic roster for that reason, because he understands these things and he is attempting to play chess, while I think some of the other leaders of the party are simply playing checkers over there and are therefore less of a threat to be successful in a White House bid. Ron, in other news, we're just gonna empty the political basket here in the C Block today. This is a big one. This just came across shortly before we went on the air. TSA is finally, after 20 plus years, I think it has been now, TSA finally, our long national frustration is over. You're not going to have to take your shoes off to board an airplane anymore. Ron, you travel a fair amount. You're always going somewhere. What the hell do you think of this development?
Dude, that was the dumbest overreaction to a one-time incident in the history of the world. One guy tries to make a shoe bomb, and now the rest of us have to take our shoes off for 20 fucking years, Ricky. Like, what an absolute overreaction. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's about time. It's just, I mean, everything about that. I mean, well, I've always wondered. So, they make you take your iPad out and they make you take your computer out. It's like what could I do with those things that would make them like a hazard? I don't even understand. Everything just feels like it's an absolute overreaction.
And you don't have to take your shoes off if you're old, right? There are some exceptions, right? Occasionally, yeah. But isn't that like, if you were a terrorist, wouldn't you use that kind of person? If you, right? Like, wouldn't the terrorist just say, put the shoe bomb on some 89-year-old infirmed woman who's only got 3 weeks left to live anyway? Send her in there to complete the mission. I've just never understood it. This person doesn't have to, but everybody else does. Why are we in the first place?
There's so much inconsistency from airport to airport, Ricky. Like, at one airport, They won't make you do something. In another airport, they'll make you do something. And, then, the TSA agent will just get real pissy with you. You're like, I just came from wherever. And that's not how we do it here. Like, it's ridiculous. I hate.
There are some concerns,
dude. I love the air. I love to travel, and I hate the airport. Like, it is
TSA,
such a disconnect for me.
I enjoy airports. I have to
say, because you drink 5 margaritas.
Well, see, Ron, that option is available to you as well. I'm trying to be the guiding light here on enjoying
1 margarita, 2 margarita, 3 margarita, shot.
4, yeah. Well, hey, look, it has been a question that I've had for a long time. Does this really do anything? Is this a psychological benefit? Do they ever find anything? Have there been shoe bombers who've been thwarted? Ooh. You know what I mean? Has there ever been, how many shoe bombers have been thwarted? Are we compromising safety at all here? Are we a little less safe on our next flight because of this? Or does it truly not matter at all? Are we weighing convenience against safety around the margins? Then you've got the pre-check folks who are saying, well, now my pre-check, I'm not as exclusive and VIP anymore.
That's true.
You know, that was one of your perks.
Well,
now everybody gets the perk.
Listen, some airports have these newfangled scanning machines, and you don't have to do anything. Like, you can leave your computers in your bag and don't have to take your shoes off, and you're not even TSA. So it's just, again, so many times things happen in this world, and the overreaction is 100 times what the action was. And it makes whoever's in charge feel better, like they're doing something. And it's just ridiculous. And people shake their heads, and it's an inconvenience.
Well, Ron, in today's program, we've watched a one-sided golf fight. We've talked about shoe bombers and the consequences and all of these things, but perhaps the most fucked up things haven't even been mentioned yet, Ron, because it's the juncture in the program where I look at you and I ask, what the fuck, Ron?
Ricky, you are a self-proclaimed, I don't want to say hater. You don't like soccer, do you?
Listen, I went to a soccer game last year at Soldier Field with
the Fire?
No, it was AC Milan against Real Madrid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, they were making the rounds and they played a game at Soldier Field, and my daughter's into soccer, so I went.
Good dad, but you don't really enjoy it, do you? It's okay. You don't enjoy it.
I'll be honest with you. It's slow.
Mm-hmm.
It's real slow. You know, so no, like if I never saw another soccer game in my life, I would not feel any poorer for it. With all
guess
respect,
what? You're wrong. You're
game.
wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Because there's a new soccer league, and I know you're going to want to watch this. Just launched in China. It's the Humanoid Robot Soccer League. 3v3, 0 human control.
Is that the guy from the golf course again?
I think so.
Are we sure I think that was golf course guy. So there's zero.
Right.
I think that was.
Yeah, they'll pick them up. They'll pick them up if they're injured, but they don't control their movements or anything. It is all AI. I promise you would watch this.
Well, does something more than this happen? Because I can tell you right now, I believe my patience is about exhausted at this
good
moment.
Wipeout. Ron's already bet on it.
Ricky, what if it was
Ron's watching?
What if it was at night and maybe you had, I don't know, consumed, some sort of a THC based something? You think you'd enjoy it more then? A little bit?
No, I don't think so. I think that's about all of it that I need to see, Ron, just to be completely honest with you.
All right.
You know,
it would have been nice to have this second
game
story.
Looks to me pretty much.
It would have been nice to have this second
different
story.
Than real soccer?
It would have been nice to have this second story yesterday because, yesterday we talked about Joey Chestnut and eating, and we were talking about how much we could eat and blah, blah, blah. And I said I could eat 25 to 30 hot dogs. I've thought this through. I don't think I could. I'm willing to try it for content.
There's only one way to find out.
No, I'm willing to do it for content.
There's only one way to find out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What? I'd never get tired of these. I'd never get tired of these. Ever.
I would buy a coffee table book just of Colin's Ronnie T-shirts photoshops.
Well, you know what? If we do this show long enough, I'm collecting these. I might just do one of those, where you can make a book out of photos. I actually might do that for you. Eating. Japan. Where are we? Japan. We're going to go to Japan, Ricky.
Okay. What's happening in Japan, Ron?
Burger King has partnered with the Japanese Sumo Association, and they're having a thing that's called the Baby Body Burger. Oh, there I am again. Look, There I am again.
Colin
Five
is just
patty
putting on a
burger.
it's like when Caitlin Clark hit 3 threes in 38 seconds. That's the kind of sequence that Colin is having on today's program here.
All right, so five beef patties, 4 slices of cheese, lettuce, tomato, bacon, and then the bun. $20 gets you the burger, it gets you a drink, and it gets you fries. Could you eat it? It's almost 2,000 calories. It's almost 2,000 calories.
I'm sure I could eat that.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably wouldn't want to move for the rest of the day, and I would hate myself even more than usual. But I actually
don't think it's a bad. It's probably not a bad way to lose weight. If you could wait till say 3 or 4 o'clock to eat your first meal, eat that.
Mm-hmm.
There's zero chance you're going to eat the rest of the day
until tomorrow.
And it's like 1,860 calories.
Yeah.
If all you consume is 1,860
solid.
calories a day, you lose weight.
Absolutely. Do some walking. In addition to that, you'll be on your way.
Yeah.
My God,
So,
did we just crack the code?
Oh my gosh. Just send us $29.99 and we'll tell you how to lose weight.
Yeah. I think you just cracked the code.